What's up, Ninja Legions? Chase here, and we are doing our second podcast. I'm here with my co-host,
Emily.
And today we have our first guest on the podcast. We are having Mike as a guest. Welcome, Mike.
Thank you. It's an honor to be the first guest.
Yeah, it's a huge honor.
Huge honor.
Hopefully,
I'm going to take to my grave.
Absolutely. And hopefully in about 200 episodes, you can look back and go, hey, I was the first. Or if we stop at like 4 episodes, you can go, hey, I was on it. Mike, you actually recently helped to set up a comp, I believe. Is that right?
I did. I was a part of the New Era Ninja group that put on the competition here in Hamden, Connecticut for NNL.
Yep. And who was the main person running that competition?
It was a man that people listening may have heard of, Drew Dreschel.
Yeah, I think I've heard that name once.
Wow, that is really cool.
Yeah, so what was it like setting up a course with him?
He just, I don't know, I don't have too many deals, but it's really good. He knows so much about the obstacles, and he's really knowledgeable about how to put together a really good course. And that's something that I really appreciate because I love setting up courses in practice. So getting the chance to bounce ideas off everyone and put together a course that we thought ended up pretty nice and fun it was a great time.
Yeah? Did you already have a plan going into it, or was it kind of throwing stuff together, see what works, test stuff out, change a bunch of stuff here and there?
A little bit of everything, just like really any comp setup.
Yeah.
It's hard to plan out everything exactly because then you can go into testing. They've had A&W obstacles where they have a full obstacle set, then they have to scrap it all and throw in a new obstacle on the show.
Yeah, one of my kind of favorite stories about testing, just about the backstory behind all the mats on the truss system. Because you know how every city has the mats on the truss systems now?
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard this one before, but in Philadelphia, when they were doing, I believe it was Hourglass Drop, one of the guys hit the tramp, and instead of going up, he launched forward into the side and face-planted into a truss system. And the producers went, we should probably get some mats here. So now every single truss system has mats because one dude busted his teeth.
I can never emphasize the importance of mats enough anywhere when you're doing ninja, because I have had some nice falls that could have gotten me very injured if I did not have a mat underneath me.
See, I have those falls, I just don't have mats usually.
So you just suck it up and just go for it.
Yeah.
Full send.
I think at the Edge last year, I think one of the kids got injured from a mat.
Yeah.
The Edge.
And Emily, you're actually from the Edge, right?
I am from the Edge.
How's running comps at that gym like?
I love the Edge so much. They are so organized, and everything moves very smoothly. They're always consistent, and we're actually opening up a new gym in Plymouth.
Oh, really?
It's gonna be
really?
It's gonna be humongous, and it's gonna be really cool.
Do you know?
I was impressed with the facility when I came out last year for comps. That was for naps.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff there.
Safety is our number one priority there. We actually have 2 builders that builds everything in the gym, so it's really cool because everything is handmade.
Yeah, that's similar to how Drew does it. Because Drew, we have a company that works with us to help develop all of our obstacles.
Yeah.
Does the Edge sell any of the obstacles? 'Cause I know Drew and his company does.
Oh, no. We just have, we make the obstacles for ourselves, and then we use them throughout the gym. But the 2 builders, one of them is Dennis Lappin. He competed on the TV show, and he's a really good friend of ours. And then the other builder's name is John, and he is extremely good. They've built the work walls, the wing nuts at our gym. They've built practically everything you can think of.
Yeah, because you guys have really nice walls.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
Mm-hmm. And we try to paint them every so often, to keep them all updated. And we try to, clean the gym a lot so it's, nice and clean for everyone.
Yeah, 'cause I know one of the things at Ninja Hub is we highly underestimated the ability of kids to scrape off paint of a wall. And
Yeah.
we had about the bottom half of the wall went from black to white in 4 months. And we had to put an entire new paint or coat of paint on.
I mean, based on that, the way that you can tell on the New Era wall if you have a good first step or not is if it's close enough to the part that's been scraped off. That's how I indicate where I'm going to have my first step.
Yeah.
Where the paint is scraped off.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ours is more just luck and hopefully you step on a freshly painted area.
Yep.
Because it goes
I've been
from
there.
yeah. But Mike, one thing too is you're in the New England area, right?
I am. I'm from Connecticut.
Yep. So Emily and I are from the Midwest. I'm from Ohio. Emily's in Michigan, and we all have those kind of local people for like NNL stuff that everyone in that area knows of. But I have no idea who your people are, and you have no idea who ours are. So as far as kind of the NNL is concerned, who are some of the biggest up-and-coming people that could do really well on the show?
One person that really sticks out. There's a candidate been on the show before.
Yes.
Julian Ferguson. He competed this year. He competed out in Minneapolis as the Black Jewels. He's a rapper, and he is honestly one of the strongest people I've ever seen. And I've interacted with a lot of pro ninjas that have been on the show multiple years, and Julius is just on another level. He's unreal. He showed he could get far last year, getting to the 8th obstacle. Fortunately, it wasn't enough to qualify.
Ooh.
I think he's going to come back next year, much stronger than ever. He's going to kill it for sure.
Yeah, I think one of the things with the show, too, is you see all the big-name ninjas, and it's always a heartbreaker when someone like Grant or Jake Murray or J.J. Woods, just kind of like for recent couple years, don't qualify for finals. It's like, oh, how does that happen? They're so good. And you think back to some of the local people that have never been shown on camera. You know, the same thing goes for them. You know, everyone expects them to make it.
We can even relate to it at this point. If one of us ends up not qualifying for nationals, it would be heartbreaking, right?
Yeah.
You know, even though we're not on the show, it's still very important to us in that regard of qualifying, so we can still experience that feeling.
Yeah, I think, too, with NNL finals, like, for certain people, too, if for any of the age groups, you know, going back to us, like, for young adults, I know that if I don't make stage 2, I'm going to be very upset that I didn't make stage 2.
Yeah,
and even with some of the teens, like, you look at, like, Caden and Pardo and Elijah and Aiden, you know, if they don't make it, it's going to be, wait, what? How did you not pass that? You're so good.
Yeah, but I think an important thing is, like, after someone runs, you just got to know everyone makes mistakes. There's an initial shock, yes, but everyone makes mistakes. It happens in Ninja. The best can fall on the easiest of obstacles, no matter what age, no matter what skill level. So, yeah.
You have to remember, too, like, not everybody is good at that one certain obstacle.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I know some people are, amazing at endurance courses, but they're just not fast, and that what kills them in nationals, but they could totally do, like, an American Ninja Warrior course.
Absolutely. You'll see, like, remember, they always had Isaac, like, the key was just get him to stage 3, and he'd be able to get through it, because that's his strength. And once he did, he was able to showcase that strength. Same with, like, Josh Levin. Josh Levin could get to stage 3.
That's one of the things with Jeff Britt, too. I mean, one of the things I use with my students all the time, they're like 8 and 9, and they beat up on themselves if they don't get something in the practice. You know, I'm like, look, Jeff Britt fell on the first obstacle after winning the show.
That's my first example whenever someone's upset that they fell.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guess what? Jeff Britt fell. So, even though I don't think he wants to, I don't know what I'm going with there. But I think that there has been some good that's come out of that, and I think he realized that. He's going to come back stronger than ever season 11, I've heard.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to see what he can do. He's one of the nicest guys I've met in the ninja community.
Yeah, one of the things, too, with me is Season 2 of NNL is the first time I ever really made finals, because Season 1 didn't really have youth finals.
Yeah.
Or at least not that I knew of at the time. But
yeah, Season 1 was just, because I actually went to the national finals for Season 1, like the adult ones, at MLAB. And that was my first ever ninja competition I attended. And it was just such a cool experience. And it really hooked me. So then once they announced, hey, we're doing youth divisions, I got very excited, and I started competing the next year.
Yeah, with me, I never really started seriously training until the start of, after Season 2, actually, because I made it to finals off of the one comp at MLAB, and it was just kind of I'll go to a comp, see what happens. I haven't done one in a while, and I qualified for finals, like, oh, sweet. I fell on the trampoline to the bars, which was the second obstacle.
I remember that, yeah, I-Core.
Yeah, and I got a bad bounce on the trampoline. I didn't even touch the bars. And I knew that I could do it because it was like the easiest obstacle there, really. And when I got off, because they let us finish the runs, I got off and I was trying to hold back the tears, because that's the first time I've actually ever really fallen early. And Drew was there, and he came up to me because we had talked a couple times. This is when I was just first getting to know Drew.
Yeah.
And he said, "Hey, did you learn something from this?" I said, "Yeah, learned a lot from this." And I said, "You didn't fail. You succeeded. In fact, you got more from losing here than you would have if you won." And it was just one of those things I'm like, I didn't fall. Well, I fell, but I didn't fail, I think that's one of the important things to take away is how can I improve? And I'm very open about my failures with this stuff. Like this year at Real Life Ninja Academy, Season 4, so this is recent. This didn't happen 2-3 years ago. This was this season. I fell on the quad steps.
Oh, yeah.
Shut up, Mike.
No. You know what? Actually, I'm going to relate to that. Last year at Real Life Ninja Academy, I fell on the first obstacle. At least you got through the first obstacle this year.
Yeah.
But last year, I fell on the very first obstacle, which was like ascending steps to a rope.
Yeah.
And I just touched the line and got DQ'd.
That happened to me on the second obstacle with the punching bag. I didn't get enough of a pullback because the first 2 people fell on it, so it was in my head, and I barely hit the line.
Obstacles get in people's heads so much, and I think that mental game is so much harder.
Oh, yeah.
Because, you'll see people fall on a balance obstacle, and even if you can do that obstacle 9 times out of 10, very easy to make a mistake and fall just because it's in your head that, everyone else is falling on this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times, too, we get worked up about, the easy obstacles, and we think about it too much, and that's what we end up actually falling on, rather than the hard obstacles.
Yeah, sure. I think people kind of overlook the easy ones, too, sometimes.
Yes.
Because you think, okay, especially for stronger people, and I've had to dial this back into my routine because I used to do this at the start when I first started seriously competing. I'd go, all right, I know I can finish. These are the obstacles I'm worried about. I wasn't worried about the first 7 or first 5 or whatever. And 9 times out of 10 when I fell early, it was on one of the ones that I didn't even think about. Just because I didn't visualize it, I didn't come up with a plan with it. I was like, oh, this is easy. And then I looked forward ahead of the course while I was still on the obstacle.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've been working on this season and it's taught me is to take every obstacle one at a time. Don't worry about the ones before, the ones after. Just take it one step at a time, and that's how you're going to finish the course.
Absolutely.
And so,
I agree more to that.
100%. Actually, Mike, you said you wanted to bring up Ninja Warrior Jr., right?
Yes, I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah. And we talked a little... Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just so happy for everyone that got to do it because when my first season I competed in the 13 to 17 because the first kids season, they didn't have a young adults division. So I got to know the 13 to 15-year-olds really well because also I have a brother, Jay Lewis, who competed on the show, and he will be shown at a later date. But, so I got to know a lot of those kids, and I'm still really close with all of them. And I knew that most of them could beat an American Ninja Warrior qualifying course for adults. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to see them have this chance on a national outlet. So when I first heard about ANW Junior, I thought it was a scam. Because I didn't think that it would, work with insurance and stuff. I thought it was just someone trying to just, I don't know, make a knockoff of it or something. Because at first it was a really vague post, if you guys remember. Mm-hmm. It was Best Kids Obstacle Course Show. Yep. So I was skeptical, but then it starts gaining ground, and Ninja start posting it hey, this is real deal. People have been contacted about it. It's actually AEW. And then, soon enough, we're in Los Angeles over the summer, and everything went down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that post, I was like, yes, I can get to compete. And then I saw 14 was the cutoff. I'm like, are you kidding me?
The ultimate fake out. I'm at that weird age where all kids that I coach are like, have you been on the show? And I'm like, you see, that's what it comes down to.
I could be, but you see, the thing is...
I could be, but I was born clueless.
Yeah.
Don't make it like that.
I think one of the things with the show, too, that's amazing is there's so many amazing kids, as you said. There's some that could finish a qualifying course on the adult stage.
Oh, no, I have no doubt that half of all the competitors, like, barring height stuff, stuff would be the biggest issue, I think.
Yeah.
Not wall, I mean, like, jumps to the obstacles.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the hardest thing for them. But I still think that a lot of people could get through it. Like, I could see kids beating out a lot of the pros.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I mean, we've all had those
stories. The pressure of the show and stuff, obviously.
Yeah. I think we've all had those stories of doing mini comps versus pros, and there's a kid that beats some random guy. And one of the things when I started competing was whenever I saw a pro, I'm like, all right, how are they doing? I want to try and go up against them. You know, I've gotten to the point where I can actually consistently hang with the pros. And you look at people like Caden.
I've got kind of a funny story for that. This year at the NNL at VertiQuest, I was running right after Joe Moravsky.
Ooh.
And I know Joe pretty well.
Yeah.
So I love him. He's an awesome guy. Really cool. He comes to New Era quite a bit. But he runs right before me. And I'm getting ready. I figure I have some time to, like, breathe and get in my zone. And then I have my earbuds in. My dad comes over there. Joe just fell. And this was, like, 30 seconds after the run started.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't let it get, I tried not to let it get in my head. So I ended up getting farther than Joe.
Mm-hmm.
And some kid comes up to me after, like, you're better than Joe Moravsky. And I laughed, and I'm just like, on this day, at this moment, on this course. And then I ended up getting a rerun, and I did worse than Joe. So that just showed my true moment.
I mean, hey, you beat him. You can say you beat him.
Yeah, no.
I think
love Joe, though. He's awesome.
Oh, yeah, just one of the nicest guys ever.
Love talking to Joe. Joe, good guy.
Joe, shout out to you.
Yeah.
And Joe, me and Joe were actually talking a little bit in New England, and he said that he might actually make a video for us on Ninja Legions.
Oh boy.
That would be really cool.
Yeah. So, guys, if this is uploaded before that video has been aired, assuming that it will be at some point, look forward to that, and hopefully we'll get some really good tips out of him.
Yeah.
Nah, Joe is fun because, like, when he comes to the gym for, like, the open nights or the adult nights, he, like, he just comes up with challenges. And you'll just see, like, a group of people just following him around the gym. And he'll just, every obstacle, find a way to make it harder and push himself. And I really appreciate that. It's awesome.
Yeah, both of the times I was at New Era, it was just Drew and Joe pushing each other doing stupid crap 24/7.
That's what makes training a lot more fun, too, like getting to challenge yourselves with your friends.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best things about Ninja, too, is, like, typical, like, working out isn't really fun. You know, like, I haven't really ever done a real workout in my life. Like, I don't just sit at home and do push-ups and then pull-ups and then sit-ups and then plank and then run. Like, that's not my daily routine. My routine is swinging on stuff and seeing how far I can go. Or how quickly can I do this obstacle. And it's super fun, but it's still training. It's helping me out, you know. I think that's kind of what everyone does.
Stronger.
I think that's one of the best parts about the sport, too, because if you go in, like, the warm-up areas of the pro comps, which I was in the Indy one last year, I snuck in, and I'll be old enough for testing this year, so I don't have to sneak in anymore.
I was going to say, Taylor just came out on a nationally popular podcast saying that you just snuck into American Ninja Warrior's warm-up area.
Hey, one of the producers walked by and smiled at me.
I'm kidding.
So, no, I know. But we were in the warm-up area, and they were all doing front levers and seeing how far they could pull up. You know, it was in the warm-up area. It was 4 a.m. Everyone had already gone, really. And they're just like, how far can we go?
We can't bring it back to A&W Junior. Like, I just thought the experience of being out there this summer, and I wasn't even the one competing. I was just there as, like, a VIP spectator. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
Because I got to, like, do sidelines and stuff. But just being around the production of the show and seeing everything from, like, close up is just unreal.
Yeah,
it's a really great experience.
It was unbelievable. Everyone was so nice. Everyone was just awesome. Got to hang out with everyone for a whole week out in California.
Yep, it was cool to see, like, how everything comes together and, like, how they really built it and everything.
Yeah, it's so much fun because like a lot of people talk about like, oh, the stories on the show are awful, blah blah blah. Well, I never realized this until now, but pros always say stories get to show you like the people you meet and what their story is, and you like because you don't get to hear it from them. And I've seen that here where I've met some kids out in LA and I didn't know their whole story. I just knew like, oh, he's really nice, cool to hang out with. And then I see the show and I get to see their full story, and I'm really like interested in it, you know?
Yeah.
And Emily, you were on the show, obviously. We talked about that in the first episode. That was the main focus, really.
Yeah.
But how much different was it kind of behind the scenes, behind the camera, being a competitor instead of one of the armchair ninjas?
So we would stay in the back warm-up area. We weren't really allowed to go much other places because they wanted to keep us there for when we competed, but everything was pretty much just like they showed it. It was very nerve-wracking standing up there. The obstacles weren't really that big, but it was just a lot of fun running that course.
And have you been to a taping of the show yet? Like the big show?
Yes. I went for the first time back in Philadelphia this past year.
Yeah.
If you saw my beautiful TV moment during Najee Richardson's run.
Yeah. Hey, mine was during Najee's in Vegas.
After Najee's run, like, I got an email from one of my teachers, like, hey, I was just watching American Ninja Warrior. I'm pretty sure I saw you. So, yeah, no, it was a really good experience. I had a lot of fun. The weather was not great, but it was a lot of fun.
I've never actually been to one, but I think we're planning on going to one this year, so I think that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping to test this year. That's my goal.
Nice.
Where are you trying to test at?
Probably the local one,
Mm-hmm.
or wherever the closest one is
Yeah.
my thought, if I had to
That
guess.
makes sense.
But just because I don't think we're going to fly somewhere like LA or Dallas or wherever they do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, because I turned 18 the week before the last city.
Ooh.
And I'm gonna get in contact with I believe Adams, the guy I keep getting told to contact. So I'm gonna contact him and try to like, hey, get me to test. And so I'm gonna try and test for the last city and for Vegas because we go every year to see Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to make out Vegas. Because with Vegas, for me at least, since I'm in Connecticut, there are so many snow days and the unpredictability of it that I could end up, like, I'll book my ticket to Vegas and then have it land on the same day as my high school graduation.
Yeah, I could see that being
It's
rough.
important to go to that. So maybe in the future, like next year, I might look into doing it after college and stuff, my first year. But this year, it's kind of like too much of a wild card with the crazy weather we get around here.
Yeah.
Yeah. We haven't had much snow here in Michigan. We've had a little bit, but like right now, you can see all the grass and not any snow on the ground.
Yeah, I remember last time when we came to Michigan for the Nationals, it was freezing cold.
Oh,
It got
yeah. It was
unreal cold. And, like, colder. It's pretty cold in Connecticut, but can't compare to, like, out there.
Yeah, it was really cold that weekend.
I just slipped on ice in a parking lot last night, so that's my story of the
Good
cold.
story, Chase.
If you saw how my story.
It's very detailed.
Yeah, well, I went to jump down because I park inside a loading dock because that's right behind our gym. And
Nice, yeah.
the ramp down was icy, and I didn't feel that for some reason. Like, it was one little patch. Because I went back up and felt around, like, where did I slip? And there was just one little, like, small circle of ice. And I went to jump down, not even thinking about it. I'm like, oh, it's just raining. It's not freezing rain because it's Ohio. Because I'm smart.
Yep.
I went to jump down and my foot just went, nope. Just ate it.
Yeah. No, I feel ya. Black ice is deadly.
Yeah, it didn't even look like ice.
Exactly that. Yeah, I feel ya.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, go ahead.
So are you guys excited or nervous for nationals this year?
Well, I haven't even qualified.
Oh.
Because I'm in the adult division this year, and it is
Okay.
much tougher than the young adults. Because I remember last year for young adults, I think it even was the case this year. You show up to a comp, you really qualify. Simple as that.
Exactly, yeah.
If
This year, a little bit tougher for me because I'll go to comps and people will just show up that are really, really good and haven't qualified yet because they haven't gone to a comp. So, I don't know. It's going to be tough, but I am nervous about qualifying. But, I mean, if I don't qualify, I know I'm probably going to get to work nationals, make some good money, and I can qualify through rec league before college starts next year, so I don't have to worry about it in my freshman year. So, there are pros to both, but I definitely do want to qualify.
How do you guys feel about, like, the system of Enter now? How, like, first place gets 10 points, and then so on from there, second, 9, third, 8.
Jason?
So I'm a little mixed on this, partly because, well, last year it was 5-point scale, I think.
Yep.
So with that, I feel like there was more room for error for the people that could have, like, a big mistake. I know for me this year, because it's 10 points, I'm currently number 1 in the standings for young adults.
Nice flex.
And but for me, I know that I have to get like first, second, or third to keep that every week, basically, because now I have a few people kind of keeping up, because I missed 2 weeks, and Ryan, Zach, and Blake all got like 15, 20 points, and I got 0.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that kind of screwed me over a little bit to try and keep first, but with last year's, and I wasn't keeping track of the standings that much last year, but for last year, it was easier to kind of maintain a place, and I feel like it more rewarded the better ninjas. Because if I got 6th place right now, I'm still getting points. You know, if I'm not in top 5 before, I'm not getting anything, and I probably shouldn't, you know?
So I kind of feel like it should be top 5 move on, and no, like, oh, this person is qualified, so you get to move up, because I feel this is nationals. This is the best of the best. We shouldn't be allowing everyone to just join in. If you make top 5 at comps and you place up there, then you should be able to move on, because I think it will, one, limit the amount of people that are going, so it won't be as, like, long and tiring, but
Yeah.
but it will also, like, it will have the best of the best there.
I have a very similar opinion. I think it should be, I just think top 10. If pretty much, I think the same system should stay. It gets bumped down to the 3 that haven't qualified, but you can only qualify if you're in the top 10. Once you get to, like, number 11, you can't qualify. So in order to be eligible, I think you should have to be in top 10.
Well, I don't even think, like, just for, like, out of the whole leaderboard, but, like, at a competition. Like,
Yeah.
I know how Unit A does it. It's 50% of the competitors you're competing against, which is nice in some ways, but at the same time, if you're competing against one person, then you have to win. So it's a little bit tougher that way, but
I feel like
talking I'm doing regionals next year for, I don't know.
I think that would be a really smart idea.
It would, but I think that it would be a lot tougher in some regions. You know, because if you're having the same number of qualifiers come out of California as New England, for example, obviously there are great people out in California, don't get me wrong, but the overall, the quality and the, like, talent is very high in New England / the Northeast, just because we have so many gyms out here.
Yeah, you guys definitely have a lot of gyms.
I think that's one of the problems with the young adults, too. Because for us, when I go to New England, both New England comps that I've gone to have had 17 competitors.
Yeah.
Last week, I competed against one guy.
Wow.
At Iron Grips, I talked to the owner. There's 2 people already signed up for Iron Grips. At MLab, the most I've ever competed against is 7. At Grips, I had 4 people I competed against. You know, so if you're taking half of the Midwest area and half of the New England area, we're gonna have as many good people. as much.
Exactly.
And that's probably going to change in the coming years because the teens category is so big. But if we did that right now, there would be so many good people cut out from the New England area that could win it on any given day.
Yeah.
And in Midwest, you're going to have not as many good people. There's a few good ones, but we don't have even close to the talent that New England does. I struggle at New England comps, and for Midwest, I win about 80-90% of them,
Yep. I think it will just take some, figuring out of how they're going to do this, and because I think the regionals is a good idea, but at the same time, like you guys are saying, there's some disadvantages to it.
I think one thing, too, though, with the way that they have it now, with bumping it back to the 3 with the finals, and Emily, you brought this up about having a lot of people there versus just the best of the best. I think one of the things that the NNL is trying to do, and I love the NNL, too, so this is nothing against them, but I think that they want as many people there as they can, partly because it's a good payday.
Yeah.
Registration there is what, like $130, $140 or something for competitors?
Yeah.
So if you can get an extra 30, 40, 50, even maybe 100 extra people there, that's a lot of money. Just from a business standpoint.
You guys also have to remember, with that, yes, it's a lot, but the money also, it's not cheap to rent out a giant, especially since NNL's got so big where I think that we've grown out of gyms.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they can hold it.
There's no way we could ever hold it as
imagine holding finals at Movement Lab, New Jersey again. Just imagine it. I don't know if you ever been there.
I have not been there yet, but I've seen a lot of live streams from it.
Right?
In Ohio?
No, the one in New Jersey.
No, I haven't.
Okay. So the gym is tiny, and that's where they held the first ever National Ninja League Finals for adults. There were probably 100 competitors, and it was a squeeze. And I just can't imagine them ever holding it. Like Ninja Quest, even I heard was pretty crowded. And that gym is massive, so.
Yeah, and that's one of the other things too is because it is a business. You do obviously have to make some money, but you also have to pay for everything too. You have to rent out the space. You have to get the stands. You have to get the equipment. You have to get the employees. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this.
Absolutely.
And real life gets a cut too, so they have to be able to pay real life as well as themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want NNL to keep going on, they need to kind of not go bankrupt.
Yeah,
exactly.
Important.
And I think they should have it in all one area because I know for a lot of families, they have kids of different ages, and when you're having one age group go to one place and one to the other, it becomes so much traveling and so confusing because it's which one do we go to? This one, it's it's all together, so it's nice that way.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to my family. My brother competes in the teen division. I'm in the adult division. We both qualify. Those are 2 different places. Gets into a little situation.
Exactly.
Yeah, because I think one thing, too, is even for the youth competitors, we all look up to the adults. We all want to see the adults, Mm-hmm. So we have to pay to go and compete at, I'm just going to use last year's as an example, we have to go compete at the Edge. So we have to pay for the hotel and everything there. And if we want to watch the finals live, then we have to get home and we have to pay to go all the way out to Atlanta to Ninja Quest to watch that.
Yeah.
So if it's in one place, it's just, hey, I can watch my son compete, and then I can look over a few courses down and see Drew compete.
Exactly.
Yeah, not Drew this year, but
yeah,
the point's the same.
He can't compete this year. That's kind of a rule.
Yeah, I realized that as I said it.
So, sorry, no back-to-back-to-back.
Yeah. Well,
Get to see a new champion this year. Yay!
Yeah. And one of the things I'm actually hoping of doing, too, is an entire prediction show the week before NNL Finals to see just how wrong we are. Because I doubt anyone's going to guess the full podium of all the age groups.
No,
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
teens and
very
up.
confident, though, that for the adults, that someone on the podium is going to be a name that is not, very well.
Yeah. Johnny Wilder last
You're
year.
going to see some up-and-comers that you've never really seen before.
100%.
There's a lot of people you underestimate that you think the pros are always like top notch, but then there are some really good athletes out there that you may never hear of.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things too is like, I'm for Mike Solenzi, the Stallion. You know, he's one of the big name ninjas that all the people in the ninja community know. I didn't know who he was until last year because we were near his family while he was competing. You know, and I'm around the community a lot. I know a lot of people, but I'd never seen him on TV. But he's still a big name ninja. He's one of the top ninjas. But to someone that's only watched the show and isn't a part of the community, you know, which if you don't compete, there's no real reason to be a part of it, you know. And so for those people, it's kind of like who is this guy? But for us, we don't know who he is. You know, I think Michael Torres, personally, Torres is one of the most underrated ninjas. I don't think
100%.
I don't think anyone in the Midwest or anyone that's ever competed against them thinks that he could possibly be underrated. But he didn't make it to Vegas last year. And people look at him and go, oh, he didn't make it to Vegas. Oh, well, he must not be that good. You know, but he's insane. He's one of the best ninjas there is. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if he won an NL this year.
Exactly.
He's someone I can see.
Yeah.
Keep going.
And I don't really think the show really represents everyone's true strengths. Like,
yes.
For example, A&W Junior, it's a speed course. Most of us ninjas are not very fast. We're good at endurance courses. And I think, like, NNL, UNA, that's what really shows, like, how good these ninjas really are. And when you're put under pressure like that on national TV, it adds to some of the things that might go wrong.
Absolutely. But, I mean, there are names in New England, at least, that I think we already talked about this a little bit.
Yeah.
That you've never heard. Like, I don't know, Connor Galvin is another name.
Yep.
He's been, like, he's never been on the show, but he's been, like, top tester for 3 years. When you were watching the Philly qualifier last year, and they were showing the obstacles before the episode, he was doing them. He's one of the strongest guys, like, just unreal. He's winning lots of NNL comps, getting podiums at pretty much everyone he goes to. And he's, like, keeping up when I'm at the gym training with him. He's keeping up with Drew and beating Drew at challenges and beating Joe at challenges. But he's never gotten his chance in the show yet. So the show definitely isn't like, oh, the only good people in the world are people on the show. Because that is 100% not true. Because I know a lot of people that, if they were on the show, I think could go farther than some of the names that everyone knows.
Yeah. I think that's one of the interesting things about watching, like, NNL and UNAA is you do see these people that you have no idea who they are. You've never heard of them before, and yet they're winning. You know, Johnny Wilder last year is a perfect example.
Johnny Wilder.
He got, what, second, third place?
Fifth, I thought.
Oh, did he get fifth? I thought he podiumed.
He got stage 3, which was the top 6.
But anyway,
he got third then, because Jake Murray got second.
Yeah. Actually, wait.
Got first.
That was UNAA, right?
NNL.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know.
NNL, I mean, Drew won, right?
Yeah, Drew won.
Okay.
It's not important what place he got, but he made it to stage 3. He was the only non-big name that made it to stage 3. I remember Justin Conway was saying on the live stream, he's like, yeah, I just talked to everyone here and nobody knows who this kid is.
I didn't know who he was, and I watched the standings all year, see, like, names that come out and stuff, and names, like, Instagrams to follow to see cool training stuff, and, I never had heard of him.
Yeah.
I think we have to remember, too, like, everybody is training just as hard for that same spot of first place.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone has a good chance, and so we just have to watch out for them because there's a lot of rookies out there that we don't think about that are going to start taking number 1.
We saw it this past year. On the show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we had all the 19-year-olds come out. Zach Day, who I've known about for, like, 3 years, because back when he was 17, my age, he won the first New Era, like, NNL comp that we hosted. At 17, he beat Joe Moravsky. And this was the first season of NNL. So I've known his name since. He's been preparing super hard. He wins a lot of the comps he goes to. He just won this past weekend at Westchester. And he came out mid stage 2. Same with Lucas Reale.
Yeah.
He ends up in Boston at TA Fitness. He came out and killed it. Matisse, the kid. Everyone obviously really knew him from college edition. But I just got to hang out with him this past few weeks, and he was really, really awesome guy. And he's going to be one to look out for, obviously, next year, too.
I think Trevor West, too, in Indy.
Yeah.
I mean, he got one of the fastest time in finals and was one of the few people that,
Of course.
that finished the finals course. And
I think everyone was going to clear that course.
Yeah.
I thought Kane Lane was going to be too hard because I'd never seen Canes before.
Yeah.
And now Canes are like at every NNL company.
Every single gym has them now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but with Trevor, too, because I saw his run, and I'm like, who is this guy? And afterwards, he was walking back. This is probably an hour or two after his run, and I saw him out by the huge statue because it was filmed in downtown Indianapolis.
Yeah.
I went up to him. I talked to him, and he's like one of the nicest guys ever. I looked at his Instagram, and it's like, holy crap, this guy's good. I mean, he won amateurs in Rockford. You know, I think he got 9th or 10th place in Rockford Pros last year. You know, this year he didn't do as well, but he's one of those guys that you always have to look out for. And he's given me some, like, just changing tips for how to warm up before comps. You know, he said to try and do as many pull-ups, push-ups, and dead hangs as you can about an hour to 30 minutes before your run so that you get rid of that flash pump. That's something I've never thought of. And I've asked Drew and Swanson and all these guys for tips, and none of them have had as good a tips as a 19-year-old rookie, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was awesome this year. He came out of nowhere.
Yeah. I think that every season now we're going to have that, especially with kind of the next few years, because with A&W Junior, people are going to start coming in that we're going to start hearing their names. It's like, Pardo's coming in. Oh, yeah. I'm scared.
I'm scared for them. Like, it's just, like, the kids that train at New Era, we have a very strong squad, and we had, like, 8 kids on the show, I think, on the kids show, and they're beating Druid challenges. It's like, it's scary. Obviously, they do still have to grow into their body weight and stuff, but because the lighter you are, it's a little bit easier to hold yourself up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they're stronger than a lot of the adult ninjas I see.
Yeah, and one of the scary things, too, is, I mean, we look at some of these top younger guys, and they haven't even hit their, like, physical peak yet.
Yep.
You know, us included. You know, we're not even close to how good as we can be in the future. I mean, same thing, you look at some of these kids, I mean, Pardo can do 49 rungs on a salmon ladder, and he's 14.
Nathaniel Pardo.
Aiden wanted to do a 14-foot Lachey.
Yeah.
Aiden.
You know?
He knocked out at Ultimate.
Yep.
Hearing about that with Jay, he was there.
Yeah, you know, Vance Walker was doing the Ultimate Backyard Warrior ladder just all the way up. You know, these kids
That's one of the craziest things I've seen. How Vance got up that, man.
Oh,
That's
it's insane.
Most unreal videos I've seen from anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we're looking at all these kids, and they're doing amazing stuff, and we have to think, they're kids. They're not in their late teens. They're not in their early 20s. They haven't hit their physical peak yet, and they're doing this insane crap.
It takes years to before they can become on the show.
Oh, yeah.
When they do get that chance to go on the show, just think of how amazing it's going to be. I think someone's going to win that $1 million.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially now that these kids are having you guys are all having a chance to get television experience before going on the actual show. You're getting that pressure out because there's one guy, they've always said this. They said this probably 1 million times at NW podcast. But one of the guys from Sasuke said, you'll never do it on your first try. You'll never clear everything on your first try because the pressure and the lights. But now, you guys are all getting the practice of running against each other on national television, having all the B-roll, having the water underneath you. Not the lights yet, but the lights I think will come eventually.
Actually, we did have lights shining on us.
Well, yeah, but like under the lights, like nighttime is what I was thinking. But yeah, I know you guys did have lights, but yeah, I thought it would. I just think it's really beneficial that they have kids Ninja Warrior. That I don't know how much harder they can make the obstacles by the time by the time everyone gets there.
Oh, I guarantee you next year there's going to be at least one in every city that you're like, how do you even think of that? That's stupid.
And then we'll see it at a million gyms, and it'll become overused, and then we'll have another one. It's just a cycle of Ninja Warrior.
Canes and wingnuts.
Exactly.
Canes were this year, wingnuts were last year.
I'm surprised I haven't seen more Deja Vu.
Deja Vu. That obstacle, I think that and On Guard.
Yeah.
On Guard, like, no one remembers it because it was like it was like a random obstacle in stage 3. I thought that was one of the coolest obstacles I've ever seen. And we have a replica-ish of it at the gym at New Era. One of the guys that trains for the adult squad, Joe Prue, he designed it. He designed a bar that can retract and expand really nicely. So if you go on like Drew's Instagram, I think Connor Galvin posted it, Julius might have posted it, of them doing salmon ladder, going around barriers.
Yeah.
Doing on-guard salmon ladder. And I think the potential for that is really big, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And one of the things that I was thinking of talking about, too, and Mike, you and I talked a little bit about this before, but kind of where do you guys think the future of the sport is going? In the next 5, 10, 20 years, if it lasts that long.
I believe this sport could be as big as soccer. Soccer is like a widely known sport. I think American Ninja Warrior could totally do that.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that. I think that at this point, will the show eventually get canceled? Yeah. But I think the sport has built up enough of a following that it will continue to thrive even after the show ends, which will probably still be a few years. But it's American television. Now, shows don't last forever.
Yeah.
It's going to come to an end at some point. We all know that. So the sport, I think, has to develop at a pace where it can still continue to thrive even after the television aspect is taken away.
Yeah.
And I think it will. It's gotten to the point where we're getting there are all these people, the big competitions, the community that is unlike any other.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that's...
What we're seeing in the Olympics, though.
Maybe. There's talk about obstacle courses and obstacle course, like, racing, that kind of stuff, going into the Olympics.
That's the way that's going to go in. I think that if we're ever going to see it in the Olympics, it's going to be a Spartan-style race with American Ninja Warrior-style obstacles.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
That's my thought. It'll be like an endurance thing with obstacles in it as well.
Yeah. I think one of the things, too, is with, Emily, your kind of generation ninjas, like the 13, 14-year-olds. If when the show does get canceled, your generation will probably have a chance at it. And just thinking of how big that kind of the teen group in the NNL and the mature kids, and I don't know what other groups there are under teens, but like with all those kind of kids coming up now, if you guys do get a chance on the show, which I assume that you guys probably will have a few seasons at least.
Oh, for sure. No,
Yeah,
it'll definitely last. It'll definitely last to see the A&W junior kids take on the course.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I think that's one of the things where once you guys kind of do, because you think of how huge the community is with the kids now. The teen competitions half the time are almost as big as the adult competitions.
Yeah,
And-
I get more excited to watch teens than adults a lot of the time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the kids are going to be able to look back at A&W Junior and go, wait, the top ninja right now is on this episode of A&W Junior. This is them at 13. How? And now he just did Mount Midoriyama. How did they go from running this course in 30 seconds to Mount Midoriyama? I think it's one of those things where you can see how realistic it is.
And I think we're going to look back and see how much we improved. Like, wow, this person finished they fell in the water in the first obstacle, and now they're finishing Mount Midoriyama. Like, we're going to see such improvement and such more skill level.
For sure.
Yeah. And that's one of the nice things I kind of like about Ninja Allegiance is I want to kind of build up this group to where we can all look back at the old videos and go, wow, we sucked. But right now, we're a lot of us are kind of the best of the best. You know, we can look back in 5 to 10 years.
You guys don't suck right now. Just know that. Like, no one sucks right now. Really, no one that ever does Ninja. It's just everyone has flaws and everyone has things they need to work on. But
we're all just improving.
We're all just growing together as a community.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those amazing things where we can look back on our journeys, especially with things like Instagram and YouTube now.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll go through my page a lot and go, wow, I was not even close to where I am now.
Good, I'm not the only one that does that.
There's
I do that with my camera sometimes. I was looking back at the first ever National Ninja League competition for finals, and yes, I competed with the broken toes, which made it like 10 times harder.
Oh, wow.
But I was watching my video and I was like, I had such like bad form and like I wasn't doing things correctly, and I was like thinking to myself like how much I've improved and like how I've learned so much from the sport.
Yeah, I feel that too, because there's actually a post on Instagram that I saw, and it was, just know that right now, your future self is talking trash about you. It's just that kind of like...
I like that.
It's just, it was one of those things I saw, and this was like a week ago at lunch. I'm like, huh. In about 5 to 10 years, I'm going to look back and go, wow, I thought I was good.
Yep.
You know, because you have so much room for improvement. You know, we look at each other now, and I'd say we're really good for where we are right now. But we're going to look back on each other and go, wow, we have so much room that we've improved. And even after that, you know, 15 years after that, we're going to look back at ourselves then and go, wow, we thought we were good then, and cycle continues.
Yeah.
I mean,
my favorite part about Ninja too is that everything is like done your own way. Because when I did gymnastics, it was this is how you're doing it, this is how you have to do it. Same with pretty much all the other sports, but this is so unique because everything just plays out the way you want it to.
For sure. Like, I grew up playing soccer. That was my life passion for 10 years. And then I got to the point where everything was way too competitive. Like, coaches yelling at you, parents yelling at you, players yelling at you. Just everything is just like, there's like no support. There's only support when you do good, but then when you do bad, it's like, you suck. Like, it's, I just hated that. And then when I got to Ninja, there are very few people I've met in this whole community that don't have support everybody. That don't, just, I don't know. I can't really put into words, but I just really love...
The Ninja community is so extremely nice. They're all so supportive.
It's perfect. It's, like, no matter what, if you fall, whatever, pick yourself back up, beat it in redemption time, work on it, and come back and beat it next year.
Yep. Exactly. And on one of the last couple episodes, I forget which one it was of A&W Junior, there's the one girl that fell early, and Najee came up and totally supported her through it, and you got to see that on camera. But what people don't see is that, look, we do that to each other all the time, you know?
Yeah.
Like, the pros do that to each other. I know a bunch of... I've walked off of a couple of courses and done terrible and walked off frustrated or... You know, a couple times crying, and I just had a ninja walk over and be like, dude, you're fine. It happens to everyone. You know, and it just got me in that mindset of, it really does happen to everyone. And now, whenever I see that happening to someone else, I try and go over to them and be like, hey, dude, it's fine.
Yeah, I'm very similar to you, Chase. Like, well, my always goal is when I fall, then if I fall, first thing I do is smile. I smile walking off the course. Because it happens, and I don't want to, like, freak anyone out, like, oh, man, he's all upset. It's like, I just smile. Just be positive, even if you fall. And that's why the kids I coach, I always just tell them, even if they fall, I just keep telling them, keep going. Don't bother. Keep going. Keep pushing through. You got it. And don't put them back up on an obstacle after they fell off, just to keep going and finish it. Just so they have the feeling of finishing it and having that, like, sense of pride.
Yeah.
And that support is what's necessary. And really everything, but Ninja seems to be one of the only things picking it up that's important.
Yeah.
And just giving it your best shot. If you went out there and you just completely gave up, then obviously then you shouldn't be trying to smile. Like, you just totally gave up. But when you try your best, then you're completing something. Even if you didn't make the obstacle,
Absolutely.
you're still learning something. You're getting better.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And one thing, too, that I've kind of learned, too, is it's okay to be frustrated at yourself. You know, you don't have to be proud of all of your runs. You know, if you fall on the quad steps, you're allowed to be frustrated and sad over it. You know, we're not saying like, oh, you did fine, get back at it, don't even think about it, you know, but use that as a learning experience. You know, be positive about it. Look at what you can take from it, and that will help you. You know, one of the things that helps me when I do bad by my standards is I talk to other people. I mean, I've talked to both of you after bad runs, and like, oh, this is really frustrating. But after about 10 minutes, I'm fine, you know?
Yeah, I'm kind of a different way. Like, with my runs, at least, I say I smile when I come off. That's always my goal.
Yeah.
Smile. But then once I'm on my own, that is the time when I can get, like, a little bit frustrated. Just kind of like...
Yeah.
And usually it's not frustrated like, oh, I can't believe I fell. It's frustrated because, oh, I didn't get to try that really cool obstacle later on the course. Like, that this past weekend at Westchester, where I competed, I found the second obstacle. And it's something I could complete a lot of the time. And I just happened to go out on it. And I was more frustrated, not that I didn't get far enough to qualify, blah, blah, blah. I was more frustrated because there was some really fun stuff that I wanted to get to play on later in that course and get to try out. But, I don't know, just always stay positive. That's my number one tip that I could give anyone that ever wants to start competing is never stop smiling. Just have fun.
100%.
Yeah. And recently I competed at NLab, and I made the silliest mistake. I jumped off the slack line, and my foot slipped, and it skimmed the floor, and I got called out. And if I didn't make that silly mistake, then I would be in first place right now, like, over the ranks. But I took it, like, a different mindset, and I said to myself, like, you know, I fell early on, but I still got a whole course left. Let's pretend I didn't fall. Like, let's make this count. And I ended up finishing. So it was, even though I messed up, I still did all those other things. It didn't matter right there. Because if you give up after that, then it looks like you don't care and you're not trying.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, one of the things that I try to do whenever I fall and am allowed to continue on, because for young adults it's about 50-50, whether you can continue or not.
I wish I had a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, but there's a lot of times where I'll fall and I'll go, I fell. Well, now it's a fun run. You know, I'll do stuff that I wouldn't try anyways. Like at Drew's gym, for the young adults, we had the salmon ladder normally, but for the adults, we had to do the whip.
The whip, yeah.
And I was spent, because I spent a minute and a half locking off on a ring to a muscle ball, trying to get a peg into the hole.
That obstacle got so many people, it was so fun.
Yeah.
In a way. It was just like, it feels good. I don't know if you ever read this feeling, kind of related, but like you create an obstacle and you just see people, like, you just know you've made a good obstacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That always feels good when you know you've, like, made an obstacle that, because part of you wants people to struggle because you know it will make them better, you know?
Yeah.
In a way, you want to challenge them.
Oh, yeah. And did you make that obstacle?
I was a part of this.
All right, well, thank you, because you made me rethink a bunch of different strategy stuff. I learned so much from that one little failure.
I thought that obstacle was really cool also, because the amount of people we saw that took like a minute and then still managed to persevere and get through it was just amazing. I was so happy seeing someone who, like, there was one person from our team at New Era that dropped the peg, literally went on his stomach, reached out and grabbed it, came back, took a minute to try to get it in, got it in, and cleared the obstacle. Yes, they ran out of time, but still, you beat that obstacle. It's awesome to see.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that got me caught up, too, because I was on there for a minute and a half, and that was actually for my place in the standings, too. It actually dropped me back to second, but I had to count the next week. But I was like, I got to get to this obstacle, and I got through the next, like, 4 or 5 obstacles, which were, half of them were upper body stuff, and I was so spent by the ring hop, which was right before the salmon ladder. So when I got to the salmon ladder, I couldn't even get up one rung. Like, that's how long I was locked off for. And, but I missed it, and I saw 17 seconds. I'm like, I'll go do the rope pull. And Drew's like, you want to try it again? I went, hey, you know what? I probably won't get that far on the rope pull. Why not? And instead of doing it the normal way, I just went for the whip. I just wanted to try it, you know?
Yeah.
It was one of those things where it's fun, it doesn't matter anymore, might as well.
Did you get it?
No, because I couldn't get a normal rung.
I feel you.
But I got halfway. The saddest whip I've ever done in my life, but...
That new Salmon Sauce system is weird anywhere. I don't like it.
The new one?
Yeah. That you know the whole, like, pulley system?
Yeah.
That's brand new. That was put up, like, a day before the comp.
That's
I'd never seen
probably
it
why that messed me up a little bit then.
Because I don't know if you got a chance to try transfer on it.
Not yet, no.
But it, like, you go and you get halfway and that starts pulling you back.
Ooh.
So you have to muscle through it. It's weird. But it's good because you really good practice. You can do that transfer, you can do any transfer.
Yeah. Alright guys, so that is all the time that we have. We are running quick on an hour. We're running out of time on our batteries and we have stuff to get to. But Mike, thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. It was amazing to have you.
I love talking about Ninja, so if you ever need me back, just let me know.
Yeah, well, obviously have you back at some point.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Emily, for co-hosting yet again.
Thank you, Chase.
But anyways, guys, make sure you check out our YouTube channel as well. That's what we kind of started out as. And also follow Instagram, so you can get updates on our videos. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the podcast and can see other ones. If you want us to say anything on or address anything on a future podcast, let us know. And that's all. Thank you guys for watching.